Galaxy 107
That's right. You're right here at Galaxy 107 FM. Got to welcome along everybody on Facebook Live right now. It's such a pleasure to have you guys joining us today. Believe me, we are absolutely elated to catch up with our good friend again. And, well, I want to get it right. It is not Pete Wheeler. No, it's Pete Beauchart. And believe me, it's Pete. Believe me, he's joining us, coming out of the band Sonica Disturbia. Yes, we know him from another band. I'll cover that one later on as well. But I tell you what, let's get right into it. Oh yes, by the way, if you, I'm so very, very happy to have everybody watching, as I said. But if you're a first-time viewer, why not do this? Sub, thumb, bell. Bingo. Bell notifications when we do have important people, much like Pete, joining us out of Sonica Disturbia. And or why not do this? Why not subscribe, become part of the family? We call it the noise here at Galaxy, simply because it is growing exponentially. It really, really is. It's getting louder and louder by the day. Thumb, you know, like us, get epileptic with that thing. Double, treble, dare you. In the meantime, let's jump straight into it. Here is Sonica Disturbia and Take Me Down at Galaxy. So that gives us a couple of minutes to have some fun. How are you?
Oh yeah!
Oh yeah!
Oh yeah!
Neone Naki is joining us.
Naki, she's
Noni Naki.
yeah, she's out of that group from Africa.
Yeah. I remember. Nick Plews is joining us, coming out of Leicester in the UK from the band, of course, the Hartland Roots band. Brandon Lorenzo. Hello, buddy. It's been a while. We must catch up. Wolf Milestone's watching. And nice to have you on board as well, Wolf. And McKinley Roth is watching as well. Nice to have you on board, McKinley. It really, really is. I'm trying to get to the bottom of this. I want to find out the real story behind Sonica Disturbia. Now, believe me, fantastic, but they're not a band. And I want to know what they are. I really do. They make such wonderful music. How can you not be a band if you don't, you make such wonderful music? Welcome back, Pete.
Hey, how's it going?
Not bad, not bad. We'll do the official welcomes very, very shortly on air. But I've been meaning to ask this with you since the last time I actually caught up with you. Pete, you strike me as a guy, and I think I sort of know you well enough to be able to ask you this, that thinks of the possible and possible that might be probable.
Heck yeah.
Yeah? You're like me, literally.
Just do it. Just do it.
I honestly, I sit there and I think of things like, for instance, we human beings, we now know how to measure the speed of light, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so how fast is darkness?
Same in the other direction.
It would be, really, wouldn't it? It's kind of possible, probable. Like, if our knees bent in the opposite direction as to what they do now, could you imagine how interesting chairs would be?
I'd just go with a hammock.
Honestly, I mean, all right, Pete, all right. Tell me this one then. Second World War, we had the thing called the kamikaze pilot, right?
Yeah.
Those guys knew they were going to die because they were given scarves that they went around, got their family, their friends, everybody to knit in a little wish and prayer for them, right? Remember those?
Okay.
In history? Why the hell did they give them crash helmets?
Good thought.
Why did Tarzan never have a beard? It's not like he could go down to the grocers and get some razor blades.
I'd like to know where he got his razor.
Yeah, exactly. That's right, you're right here at Galaxy 107 FM, and today we ask the difficult questions with the real Pete Wheeler. Boss Hart, please stand up. You're right here at Galaxy. Pete, welcome back to Galaxy.
Hey, thanks for having me, man. I really appreciate it, you guys taking the time.
Oh, believe me, it's an absolute pleasure, Pete. It's been a while since we've caught up last.
Yeah, it was before Christmas, I think, or maybe the Christmas special.
Something
I
around
remember,
there.
yeah, it's been a while, yeah.
Yeah, it has been a little while. Is it too late to say Happy New Year?
Heck no, never too late. I'm a little backwards and a little slow on the upkeep anyway, so it's all good.
Yeah, exactly. That's much like myself as well. Now, today we're not talking about the Durham County Band, but we're talking about Sonica Disturbia. Now, I want to get to the bottom of this because it is not a band, but it is made up of musicians. So tell me the concept of Sonica Disturbia.
Well, I started doing studio stuff many years ago, and working with a lot of different musicians, of course, and helping them produce their tracks and stuff like that. And when you have a nice full studio and you don't have anything else to do, you play around and do stuff. And I was always writing, always doing my own stuff. And, you called people to come in, but here's the funny thing. Why are drummers always late? Aren't they supposed to keep time in the band? But they're always late.
Yeah.
This is where Sonica Disturbia came from. The actual name is because what I used to do was I would manipulate sound, disturb sonics. So that's where that name came from, and I was doing a lot of that, and with guys, you call somebody to come and do a track or something to come and work with you, and they'd show up late or they wouldn't show up, so you play the drums track, and then you want a singer to come in and sing it, and you do the ghost track, and it sounds great and stuff, and they don't show up, or they come in and they go, well, I don't like the way I sang it, I like the way you sang it better, kind of thing, and a lot of that is how Sonica Disturbia came into play. I started doing a lot of solo stuff for film and TV, so I was doing a lot of like hard driving, kind of Nine Inch Nails meets Metallica and Queensryche, and a lot of those era, that kind of sound with a lot of different theatrical stuff to it, and no vocals. And I have a lot of success with film placement, TV placement, movie trailers, and stuff like that. And a lot of these songs spun off of that. So some of them had vocals and some of them didn't. Well, these are the ones that had the vocals. And just recently, I guess October, November, one of the songs, Take Me Down, which we just heard, got picked up from a TV show on Showtime called Yellow Jackets. And if you haven't seen the show, it's kind of cool. You should check it out. And that kind of started the whole Sonica Disturbia thing to come back into play, where, like that song was written, I'm going to say 2004 or 5 when it was written. I never released it as a track, as a Sonica Disturbia track. The non-vocal version was released to film and TV stuff, but this one got picked up and it really started the ball rolling. So now I'm digging back into this vault of literally tons of different songs from that era, and I've forgotten a lot of them because you just kind of, but that's where you came from. That was another one that was written like back in that same kind of time frame. So I grabbed it, did a quick remix on a few parts and stuff, and put it out there.
Okay, so now we got the background of Take Me Down and Sonica Disturbia at the same time. But tell me about the lyrics of Take Me Down. How did you come to those?
A lot of songs, for me personally anyways, I'm not one of the kind of guys that can we're going to write a song Tuesday night at 5 p.m. Everybody, let's get together, and then you got a whiteboard and you go, okay, we're going to write a song about water. Okay, what can we write? And then you do the whiteboard, and then you write a song about how great water is. I'm not that guy. These songs and pretty much any lyric that I've ever written comes from within and deep within. And that song is from relationships gone bad and how people can just wear you out and suck the life out of you. And not only just relationships. At that time when I was writing that, it was business-wise, it was personal-wise, there was a lot of stuff going on. And I always make the joke that Sonica Disturbia was born from the ashes of disaster. And it's true, because there's a lot of hurt in there, a lot of anger. There's more coming, trust me.
Well, I got to be honest with you, Pete. A very wise man said to me once, you never look up when you're going down, but when you get there, there's only one place to go. It's back up. So believe me, I'm right there. Zoran Hafez is joining us. Nice to have you on board, Zoran. Hakishan is joining us as well.
Harry.
I'm sorry?
Harry.
Harry. Harry's joining us. Okay, now I get it. Believe me. Erinison is joining us. Evil King Debret. Franco Nanucci's in there. Steve Caldwell's there. And Don Pierce is watching. Hello, Don. Nice to have you on board. It really, really is. Today we're talking to, Pete. I'm going to call him Pete because I'm stuck on, how I first met you, my friend. I really am. And I don't want to get it wrong. It's Pete Bosshard, of course, but I'm stuck on Pete Wheeler. So, but the Bandits, the construction itself, can I call it a construction project?
You can call it whatever you want as long as you don't call me late for dinner.
Yeah, no, I hate being called late for dinner myself, be honest, so I'm right there with you. But tell me about you. Now, believe me, we've played it, a couple of times now, and people just want to know more.
Again, another song that's, again, these were written all kind of around the same kind of time frame, so there was some real bad relationship stuff going on there, and when you, can I just say it? It kept me sane. It kept me going. It kept me. It was a way to express the frustration and the anger and the angst that I was feeling when I was going through some really hard times. And even at the time, some of them didn't get released, but the therapy of doing the song and putting it to word and putting it to melody, it was like taking a brick off my chest, and at least I could breathe for that time frame. And going back and listening to some of the songs, like these are some, like I said, some of these I haven't listened to in 15 years, 10, 12. I may have listened to it once or twice over the years, but some of them I've completely forgotten about. So when I'm going back through old hard drives, and if anybody remembers CDs of backups, because I'm pulling up a CD-ROM and putting in CDs in it, and it's like, crazy stuff. But I'm pulling up some of these songs, and it what I think is cool for me, and I hope it helps everybody else, it brings up that emotion that I felt at the time, and I think if it brings up the emotion again, then hopefully somebody else that's going through the same kind of shit or trouble or feelings, they can listen to it, and it can maybe take a brick off their chest for 3.5 minutes of their life.
Absolutely get it. I really, really do. So joining us live is, of course, Pete Bosshard. I'm going to get it right sooner or later.
Just said Pete from Sonica.
Yeah, Pete from Sonica. He's joining us.
It's all good.
Here's his latest release, and we have released it. We have played it. Hadn't seen a lot, but believe me, we've been getting a lot of interest. Here's You. I know what you mean about CDs. Here's something really funny. I was over at a friend's place yesterday having a few drinks. It's Sunday. I usually get a couple of hours away from family life and away from the company and everything, and go and play pool and darts and stuff like that, hang out with my mates. And my friend was playing, he brought out an old box of records, right?
Nice.
And his son comes along, 14, 15 years of age, and he's looking at these things and he's looking really confused. And my mate just looks at him and goes, pre-MP3. The kid,
What?
pre-MP3.
Oh, yeah, for
You
sure.
know? Suddenly the kid understood, you know. It's a medium to listen to, you know. What the heck is this? Never seen them before, you know. So,
Yeah.
you go, I was with the same guy when that kid turned around and says, Dad, we've got the talk of life coming up at school. You know.
Oh, no.
The birds and bees. Should I know anything before I go into this conversation? He says to the old man, and the old man says, yeah, that's simple. There's the birds and the bees, right? He goes, yeah. And he goes, right. So then there's the birds that want to be with birds, the bees that want to be with bees, the birds and bees that want to be with... And some of those birds have got fucking stingers.
I don't swear.
There you go.
He goes, it's all in the concept of how you look at the birds and the bees today.
It is so. Hey, it is so.
I
Crazy
looked
stuff in the world.
I looked at him and I says, you know what, mate? When we went to school, it was really simple. There was birds and bees. Now you've got the whole bloody enchilada in there.
Ain't that the truth? Yeah. Yeah, you got the whole arc. Everybody wants to be something else.
I've never heard it described like that. Birds that want to be with birds, bees that want to be with bees, and then there's those birds with the stinger. That's right, you're right here at Galaxy 107 FM, and today we're talking to Pete from Sonica. That's what he told me to tell you, literally. But it's good to catch up with our good friend out of Ontario. Now, I've got to do the official thing. Pete, as a fan, how do we get hold of you? Are you on Facebook? Are you on Twitter? Are you on Instagram? Are you a talker? But more importantly, do you respond?
I try to. I do try to. I got a bit of echo. The website, sd-tunes.com. That's my studio. You've got sonicadisturbia.com. If you get to sonicadisturbia.com, you kind of get to a little bit of everything of what I do and I'm doing and stuff like that, because Sonica Disturbia and SD Tunes is my recording studio and production company, but there's Sonica Disturbia, page 2, which is just starting to release now, which is a bunch of kind of cool singer-songwriter stuff. That it's a different project that I'm working with, and that's with Kip, who's actually not Kip Walker, but actually Mark Smith.
This is
And him and I had done tons of songs over the years, and mostly but piano acoustic, or guitar and cello and stuff like that, and very deep thought and emotional songs. So there's that stuff on there. So sonicadisturbia.com, that's the best place to start. Sonica Disturbia is on Facebook. I don't do Twitter. I don't have the time to argue with people. The social media thing, I try to keep on it a little bit, but I will be say that I'm a little lax at times where it's hard to keep up with. It's hard to keep up with all of that stuff, and sometimes I'd rather be playing my guitar than. That's me.
You know, I'm so pleased you said that, because now you might only get a couple of thousand people getting in touch with you instead of the millennia that I know people do. Troy Tipton's joining us. Nice to have you on board, Troy. I actually played a song earlier on of yours, Another Brick. Love it. Still love it. Really, really do. Anita Wake is joining us as well. Anita, absolutely love your work. I really, really do. And looking forward to doing an interview with you in the near future. Now, at the same time, you passed on Rob's work, which is fantastic in his own band, the 23s. So very, very impressed. Both coming out of the same place in Sheffield really, really is fantastic. And of course, Mark Wildo is joining us as well. Nice to have you on board, Mark. And Nick Blues says good morning. Believe me, Nick is a bass player coming out of the band, the Heartland Roots Band, coming out of Leicester in the UK, who was actually doing a festival over the weekend, and absolutely fantastic band in their own right, live. I am absolutely fascinated with this band, I really, really am. So nice to have Nick on board as well. Now, got to ask you, my friend, anything new coming in the near future?
Oh, yes. I have been going through the vault of the songs for Sonica Disturbia, and there's so many great songs that are sitting there, but there's a couple that are really kind of hitting home with me and stuff like that. So there's a song that actually has Mark or Kip singing lead vocal, and Chris McDonald playing drums, and it's just one of those songs that at the time, it was a song that we did with a band called Carbon, but it was so heavy, it was really not a Carbon song at all. Carbon was like alternative rock, kind of, middle of the road, a little bit of Americana meets alternative. And this song kind of came out of nowhere, but this song is going to be released under Sonica Disturbia in the near future. Page 2 has a new song that's just out right now. You can get that on YouTube and everywhere, Spotify and all that kind of stuff. So Page 2 has Long Train, which is out right now. There's going to be a bunch of Page 2 songs. I've got, oh my gosh, probably 6 of those in the works. Sonica Disturbia has about 4 or 5 songs. And of course, I am just on the final stages of finding I've got a handful of duets that I'm doing with Durham County Band. So I've got a few duets, and I'm trying to find a couple of different singers to do those with, as well as a Pete Wheeler track that's pretty much ready to go. So there's a lot of stuff coming down from SD Tunes, which is mostly me, but
Well, Pete, that kind of keeps me mouth-watering, literally, because it means that you're going to come back for another interview.
Oh, there's always more to come.
Absolutely brilliant, my friend. As you know, as an engineer myself, I absolutely love your work, and I respect any engineer that can just pull it off the way you do. I really, really enjoy that. And I don't listen to music like a fan listens to music. I listen to it like an engineer. Do you find yourself doing the same thing?
Oh, I'm my own worst enemy. I'm
Yeah.
my own worst critic. I'm always picking on myself. I have stuff that I would listen to, and I go, that ain't ready. And somebody else would be sitting behind me going, what do you hear that I don't hear? This is great. Or, they'll be like talking like it's the best thing since sliced bread. And it'll sit with me in the studio for days, weeks, months sometimes before, I'm happy with it. But at some point, you just gotta let it be what it is, and you can say perfection, but perfection is in the eyes of whoever's doing it. And to me, I'm not as much into, what's a good way to put it? A lot of the stuff that's being produced nowadays is too perfect and too overdubbed, and everything is just, I saw a guy who was taking a little piece of felt and he's sticking it in the backside of the strings of the headstock because that was going to make too much noise. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, how could that possibly interfere with a track? And I'm thinking to myself, yeah, I like to get my stuff to sound great, but I also like things to have a reel to it. And not all the vocals have to be perfectly tight and aligned and everything. And like that takes, I don't know, it just, maybe it fits the Spotify algorithm and gets to the top of the charts, but I listen to that stuff and I can't hear the difference between one artist and the other lately, and they're all amazing singers. I hear these singers that are just, you listen to them sing and it's like, my God, you've got a gorgeous voice, perfect. absolutely perfect. And then another song comes on and it's like, oh, is that the same one that I just, oh, and then you hear another song and it's like, oh, are they all the same people? And then you go, no, they're not. And I like character.
Pete, you sound too much like me.
You know, where's, nowadays, would Bob Dylan ever get a deal?
No.
What? Would Neil Young ever get a deal?
No.
If they get booed off the stage on these shows, and they're looking for the perfect voice and stuff like that, but the perfect voice doesn't mean that they can convey an emotion and bring something to the table that's like, I mean, I don't know how many times I've sat just cruising along listening to something like old Neil Young or something like that, and God bless him, Neil's not the world's greatest singer. He isn't.
No.
But God can tell a story, and the emotion that he can bring to a song, that's why we still listen to him.
Yeah, but don't forget, Rust Never Sleeps, for instance, was right for the era and the technology of that time.
Absolutely.
And same with Bob Dylan. Way back in the day, when he first threw away his acoustic and picked up an electric, he was right for that era, literally. Today, I don't think we'd even consider them. If they walk through the door and says, hi, my name is Bob Dylan, I can play a guitar, you'd say, yeah, go away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and there's too many studio musicians that are taking over and doing everything, where people will get together and they'll get a song, and then they have all studio musicians come in. God bless them. If that's what you want, that's okay. But that's why things start to sound homogenized and always sound the same, is because when you get to that top echelon, it's always the same handful of people that are doing a lot of the work. And I get it. I do get it from the industry perspective, but
yeah, I get it too. Believe me, I'm right there with you, Pete. I am. Jack Wilson is joining us as well. Nice to have you on board. But we are going to have to wrap it up right now. So looking forward to meeting up with you again in the near future. Just wondering though, you're saying about second page. Well, there is no second page here in your bio. We might need to spruce it up a little bit. What do you reckon?
do you mean about page 2, the actual band?
Yeah. Well, maybe page 2 on a bio as well might be good.
Oh, gosh. That bio goes back so many years. There's so much stuff that I could put in it and share, and it's kind of like, how do you get down to the basics of what somebody might want to know? Like, my career goes back, gosh, many years. And you don't want to, that's a good way to put it. The industry is full of ageism.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, the Eagles put out a brand new record, and it's incredible, but they can't get played on any of the stations because they're old.
They're old, absolutely.
It's good music.
Yeah, hey, look, believe me, it's the same with radio.
Yeah.
The other day I was literally talking to a representative of Radio New Zealand here, and he says, Grant, you're the godfather of modern radio. I says, that's just calling me old. He says, yeah, well, you are.
Am I still good?
Yeah, he didn't answer that one.
Good, bad. Music, DJs, yeah, good, bad. There's nothing else. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what your genre is, or are you good? Yeah, you're great.
What he was alluding to is I've actually been in the business now 41 years. Okay? And I'm the oldest radio announcer in New Zealand per se, as we stand with that kind of record. You know what I'm saying? And I just says, I'm still working.
Thanks, Skippy.
Yeah.
And keep going.
Exactly.
We miss you.
Well, you know what I mean, don't you? I think he was looking maybe bringing in some new blood or something like that, and I says, no, I'm still working. You'll be fine. Anyway, my friend, hang in there. You know what we're going to do next with the photos and stuff like that, so please hang in there. But for everybody else, very, very shortly, we're heading, would you believe, all the way over to Malaysia. Yes, we're going to be catching up with our very, very good friend, Leah Mehta. Now, she's just come off tour in India, and I want to know all about that. She's been with good friends of ours, Jay, of course, and also Cherise D'Souza, doing a music-fused fashion show. Fantastic. You're going to love it. A bit of jazz in there as well, too, by the way, so be prepared for that. It is just damn good music. see you at 11:15. But in the meantime, thank you, Pete, for joining us, whoever you are.
Thank you so much for having me again. We'll see you again soon.
We will see you again soon for sure. But in the meantime, ladies and gentlemen, you're right here at Galaxy. Good morning.
Galaxy.